Everyone, Dusty here, and today I'm going to talk about time savings on the bike, but more specifically the equipment that you can buy that will give you an advantage aerodynamically, as well as the cost that's associated with each of those equipment items. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's get started. And for this graph, let's just pretend the time savings are over a 40K flat course, which would be perfect for time trialing. And for all the equipments, I'm going to give the high-end range on what the time savings would be. And I've referenced lots of websites and wind tunnel studies for all of these specific examples. So first up, I have some aero bars. And of course, aero bars are standard on all triathlon specific bikes, but if you have a road bike, set of clip-on aero bars are invaluable, and they will give you tons of time savings at quite a low cost. You can get clip-on aero bars for probably a couple $100 pretty easy. If you do happen to have a road bike, clip-on aero bars should be high on your list on things to get to save time. Alright, and next up we have aero helmets. Now, aero helmets can cost anywhere from about $200 to $500, and over 40K they can save you upwards of 60 seconds, so really good time savings for quite a low cost. Alright, next up we have some of the more expensive items, and this one is race wheels. So race wheels can cost definitely over $2,000 if you buy brand new, but they can have pretty high time savings. You could probably get anywhere from 90 seconds to 2 minutes in time savings over 40K with the proper set of race wheels. And next up, after race wheels, we of course have triathlon bikes and aerodynamic frames. And if you're switching from a road bike to a tri bike, it's definitely going to save you similar time to race wheels, 100 plus seconds. But the thing about a tri bike is that's usually your most expensive purchase. If you're buying a brand new high-end tri bike, it can cost you upwards of $15,000. But if you are okay buying used, you can probably get away with a decent tri bike for about $2,000. There even are some great brand new tri bikes that are relatively cheap. So I live in Canada, and I bought my new bike last year, which is a Cannondale Slice, and it cost me just under $3,000 brand new. Alright, next up we have one of the most valuable time savings things that you can do, and it actually isn't even an item. So this is bike fit. Bike fit, especially if you have a poor bike fit, can be absolutely the most valuable thing that you can do. Bike fits can range anywhere from about $200 to $500 depending on what you have done and who you have it done by. But a proper bike fit can be huge. It can make you a lot more comfortable, and it can save you tons and tons and tons of time. Next up, I have a couple of little things that you can do to save time. One is buying a well-fitting tight tri-suit. So just compared to loose clothing, of course this is going to save you time, and tri-suit might save you a few seconds, anywhere from maybe 10 to 20, and they're relatively cheap compared to everything else. Probably a good one will be in the $250 range. And then after that one, we have aero water bottles. So from what I've read, aero water bottles can actually save you upwards of 30 seconds over 40K, which seems like a lot, but aero water bottles should definitely be one of the cheapest things on here, and you can save upwards of 30 seconds. So really good time savings for very low cost. Alright, so let's review this graph. Your big ticket items are definitely always going to be your tri bike and your race wheels, and those are absolutely going to cost you the most amount of money for what you're getting in time savings. Yes, time savings can be quite significant with a tri bike and race wheels, but you have to be willing to fork over the money to get them. Good thing about race wheels and tri bikes are people are selling their used stuff all the time, and race wheels you could probably bring into the 1K area, or even sometimes cheaper. I sold a pair of Zip 808s for $500, which was a great deal, but compare that to brand new, they're probably $2,500. So look used if you can't fork out the anywhere from $2,000 to maybe even $17,000 if you're buying brand new race wheels and a tri-bike. And then if we take a look on the left side of the graph, this is where pretty much everything $500 and under goes, and some of them are actually quite good time savings. So if you have a road bike, clip-on aero bars is a must. Getting aero bars, especially over a flat course where you can get down in your aero position, that's going to be huge. That's a must-have. A bike fit is essential, especially if you are having any sort of issues, but it can also make you a lot more efficient and aerodynamic, and time savings can be super great. Aero helmet is a no-brainer. It's a cheap thing. You look cool, at least in the triathlon world, and it'll save you upwards of a minute over 40k. Aero water bottle, I mean, how simple is that? Some of them, like this Tour Hands bottle here, just fit between your aero bars, and all you have to do is bend down to take a drink out of the straw. And then lastly, just something simple like getting a new tri-suit can not only make you look good and feel good, but it could actually give you a few seconds of time saving. It's not going to be significant, but as far as cheap things go, these are things that everyone should think about purchasing if you haven't already. Alright, so as you can see, there's a lot of things that you can do to improve your aerodynamics on the bike, and kind of what the costs are behind each of those things. Just remember though, the biggest thing about going fast in triathlon is training, and I think a lot of people are willing to fork out $15,000 for a bike, not always willing to put in the training that going fast requires you to put in. And some of those things like an aero helmet, wheels, that's free speed, as in you don't have to work extra to go faster on the bike, but it's not technically free. Everything comes at a cost. And some of the things that I showed on the left side of the graph, like aero helmets, aero bars, aero water bottles, and a bike fit, are all relatively cheap things that you can do for under $500 that can have quite significant time savings. And then yes, when you're ready to fork over the money to get a set of race wheels and a super aero tri-bike, then you can go for it. But just remember that that's not going to completely change your world and make you start winning your age group. Will it help? Yeah, absolutely, but it's not going to be the only factor that's going to change your triathlon career. Another thing to think about as far as aerodynamics go is, imagine you're punching a hole through the air, and essentially the smaller the hole that you can punch through the air, the faster you go. So when we talk about things like aerodynamic water bottles and aero bars and getting low, basically a big part of that is going to be punching a smaller hole through the air. And you can have a super aerodynamic bike fit, but if you can't hold that, you're going to be up on your handlebars a lot more than down in your aero bars, and you're going to be punching a bigger hole through the air, and you can go the same speed, but you're going to have to put out a lot more power. So just remember, when you're trying to get uber aero, you want to become as aero as you can, but as comfortable as you can holding that position. So this was just an example over 40k, but if you extrapolate that up to a full Ironman on 180k, time savings can be monstrous with some of these items, but you have to be comfortable in holding that position for that long. So I hope some of that helps, and if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe for more everything running, triathlon, and nutrition related.